In the Bahamas tonight, the Christmas gift straw vendors got to unwrap early this year. Immigration officials apprehend a group of illegals, and an elderly man is shot. All those stories and more are coming up in the Bahamas tonight.
Covering the islands of the Bahamas, ZNS Network presents The Bahamas Tonight.
This portion of the news is brought to you by McDonald's. McDonald's, I'm loving it.
Good evening and welcome to the Bahamas Tonight, the National Report. I'm Kishla Adderley. Thanks for joining us. The new Nassau Straw Market was officially opened last night during a ceremony on Bay Street. Hundreds gathered as a key piece of the downtown product was restored after 10 years. Straw vendors say they're excited to be back in business, and the government is urging them to make the most of their new opportunity.
It is now my great pleasure to declare the historic city of Nassau Straw Market officially open. Thank you. Good evening.
With that, a new chapter began in the history of downtown Nassau. A far cry from its beginnings in the 40s, the new market stands tall among luxury stores and modern infrastructure as a contemporary reminder of old Nassau, while helping to anchor an evolving tourism product, as Prime Minister Ingram notes.
This grand edifice, inspired by our national and architectural history and built to showcase traditional Bahamian crafts, is an investment in the future. It is a centerpiece of my government's plans to make significant improvements to our tourism product, assist in the rebirth of downtown and the city of Nassau, and help foster a renaissance in Bahamian arts and craft. The experience of Bahamians and visitors will be greatly enhanced from the moment they arrive in New Providence, whether by air or by sea. We built and will continue to build the most modern capital city in our region.
The new straw market fills a 10-year-old void, but for architect Pat Ramming, it means a lot more than that.
In 1974, when the original straw market burned down, the very first Bahamian architect, fully qualified Bahamian architect to come home and practice, his name was Donald Cartwright. He brought me down to the site and he said, "Do you realize this is the first time in our generation that we're going to have an opportunity to do something on Bay Street?"
This wood carving, which will be put on display at the office of the Prime Minister, and this straw bag, a gift to the wife of the Prime Minister, are just two tokens the Prime Minister hopes will be representative of market merchandise. This vendor, meantime, says just one week in, so far, so good.
Very well for me. Very good. Very, very, very good. I enjoyed every minute of it. I really move in on Monday, and this is Wednesday. And I've really been happy and enjoyed, and I'm looking for the best of everything.
And so are Prime Minister Hubert Ingram and Culture Minister Charles Maynard.
I and the government of the Bahamas regard you as respected, independent entrepreneurs and will treat you as such. I am proud of you. Be proud of yourselves.
We look forward to a new year of opportunities. My wish is that this market, that we look forward to greater unity and professionalism.
Now, the downtown straw market on Bay Street is rich with history and serves as a main attraction for thousands of visitors who flock to the Bahamas annually in search of a souvenir or two to take back home. LaDon Davis takes a brief look back at the history of the market and how far it's come.
For decades, the multi-million-dollar strawcraft industry sustained generations of Bahamian families here in New Providence and the Family Islands, and continues to be the major source of income for hundreds of young and old Bahamian straw vendors. Historian Dr. Gail Saunders talked about some of those families.
The late Edith Turnquest, her mother, Myrtis Thompson, was an entrepreneur, and she not only, was she in like the straw basket making and so forth, but she really was a business person. She had a factory and she had other people working for her, and she actually exported to Europe and Canada and the States. And I think Frankie Wilson's mother was another pioneer. And I think Bertha Brown, who was a grandmother of Edith Turnquest, was a local pioneer as well.
In the late 1940s, the first 8 straw vendors who lived in the heart of Fox Hill, where straw craft was practiced, carved out a number of household items like brooms, baskets, purses, hats, and African scarves from dried palm, sisal leaves, and straw. With no market to sell their goods, the Duke of Windsor, royal governor of the Bahamas, who took an avid interest in the straw craft industry, built makeshift stalls for the vendors near the market range on Bay and Market Street in 1943. Historian Dr. Gail Saunders tells us what the market was like back in its glory days.
The original straw market, we believe, was in the park or Rawson Square, when a number of ladies from Fox Hill, mainly the Davises, came down and set up there, and later they moved down to very close to where the market is now. Remember now, there was a Nassau market right at the northern end of Market Street, and people who grew vegetables and fruit would come from over the hill.
In 1974, tragedy struck when a fire destroyed the makeshift straw market, forcing vendors to relocate to the Prince George Wharf. But June 3, 1983 became an historical day for dozens of straw vendors as former Prime Minister, the late Sir Lyndon Pinling, officially opened their new straw market. Today, the famous downtown straw market is one of the largest shopping touristic hubs that captivates the attention of millions of visitors to Bay Street every single year. The tourism hotspot is a visitor's walking paradise, which should specialize in all things Bahamian made from straw, shell, and coconut. But Dr. Gail Saunders says things have changed.
Over the years, the stalls didn't have like all straw anymore. There were like cloth items and bags made out of different materials and so forth. So I'm hoping that, it would be more of a straw market.
Those 550 straw vendors in the new straw market will only be allowed to sell Bahamian-made products from their stalls in an effort to keep the lucrative Bahamian craft industry alive. LaDawn Davis, ZNS News.
Another murder has been recorded, this time in Grand Bahama. Police there report that a 25-year-old Grand Bahamian man is assisting officers of the Central Detective Unit into the 8th homicide for Grand Bahama. Now, the incident reportedly happened early this morning. Just before 4 a.m., police responded to a call of a domestic-related matter in the Hudson Estates area in Freeport. When they got there, they found a 34-year-old man, originally from New Providence, dead. He had been stabbed to the upper body. Now, this is the 122nd homicide on record nationally. Unfortunately, the country has surpassed last year's record of 94 murders, with 9 days to go in this year. Immigration officials apprehended 47 illegal Haitian nationals today. According to reports, Immigration and Defense Force officers acting on information received this morning in relation to illegal landing in the Marshall Road area conducted an early morning search between Blue Hill Road and Lazaretto Road. Officers combed the bushes, turning up 36 males, 5 females, and 6 children. According to the migrants, they departed 3 Haitian cities on Sunday aboard a wooden sloop. Ministry of Health officials say the group was examined before they were detained at the detention center. The Vice President of the Customs, Immigration and Allied Workers Union is disputing reports that customs officers stationed at the Lyndon Pinling International Airport were on strike this morning. Sloan Smith confirmed that the union did hold a meeting with its members at the customs location on Arawak Key to talk about pending issues. Meantime, he said the union is still awaiting certification of its strike vote taken 3 weeks ago. That certification expected to come from Labor Minister Dion Folks. Now, last week, customs officers stationed at the airport walked off the job briefly, citing outstanding overtime payments and health and safety concerns linked to an ongoing sewage problem. White-collar crime reportedly more significant here in the Bahamas than is known to authorities. The Bahamas Chamber of Commerce says more and more businesses are feeling the pinch of employment theft. Janaea Noel Ferguson spoke with the chairman of the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce about what else the survey revealed.
Although crimes against persons or property might dominate the daily headlines, a recent economic crime survey conducted by the Bahamas Chamber of Commerce has revealed some interesting statistics that business owners should be closely following. Chairman and Chief Executive Officer Winston Stroll says the impact of white-collar economic crime is having a significant impact on business, and many times it goes unreported.
Nobody wants their name in the public domain with anything negative. And even though in this case the business would be the victim, the mere fact that their name is associated with some sort of economic crime and that they are prosecuting, that can be perceived as negative. And so many instances it's just swept under the rug, which has its challenges, because what that means is that someone who may be found guilty or who you may have dismissed because you had evidence of them creating these kinds of activities are free to go and do it somewhere else.
Now, according to the survey, this seems to be the norm.
We seem to have started to develop a culture where it's acceptable to, simple as stealing time, not giving an employee adequate time, taking home copy paper because it's there and I'm entitled to it and the employer don't pay me enough anyhow, so this is my way of making up for my shortfalls. It's become a culture, and so in many instances people don't even see themselves as doing anything that could be considered a crime.
However, Rose says there are some key things businesses can do to mitigate this problem.
If a business feels that they are having some challenges that they may not be fully aware of, then what they need to do is go to the next step, which is to call in a forensic accountant who's going to go a lot deeper than a regular audit and try to really identify where their challenges are, and also can be in a position to assist them with putting things in place to mitigate it. And if there's loss of business opportunities, the other side of the coin is there's loss of jobs, because then if businesses aren't expanding the way it's envisioned, they won't have the financial wherewithal to hire more staff and make more people employed.
Now, come next year, Rose says they do plan on educating more businesses to ensure that these types of crimes do not go unnoticed. Janae Noel Ferguson, ZNS News.
The Progressive Liberal Party wasting little time in deciding who will be the party's standard bearer in the North Andros and Berry Islands constituency in the next general elections. The party is expected to officially confirm the nomination of Dr. Perry Gomez to contest the seat. The committee began the search after incumbent Member of Parliament Vincent Peet withdrew his name from consideration after having difficulties dealing with the handling of $180,000 in clients' funds. Dr. Gomez is the longtime director of the National HIV and AIDS program, and he has family roots in the Berry Islands.